Hey, what's up, you guys? It's me, Eclectic Witch. Welcome back to my channel. I just finished filming my Demons and Demonic Activity video for my channel. So this video is going to be the second video about Demons and Demonic Activity, but this is about my personal experiences about Demons and Demonic Activity. So this is a little close to home for me, but I'm just going to move right into it. So, when I was in the very beginning of my witchy spiritual practice, in the very beginning, I got led to witchcraft through discovering my intuitive psychic gifts. And one of the first intuitive psychic gifts that I discovered I had was not just clairvoyancy, but mediumship. I discovered I was able to see and sense spirits and hear them as well. And as my third eye was opening, not only did I become more susceptible or more open to my spirit guides, I was also noticing the negative spirits around me, which at the time was demons. Now, when I was experiencing demonic activity, I wasn't the direct target with the demons. I found out over time that my dad actually had demonic attachments, spiritual attachments to him for decades that he never had no idea about, which influences depression and alcoholism and whatnot. And I was about 10, 11, 12 at the time when I discovered and realized what was really happening and what was going on. So I still was a beginner witch. I didn't have my skills yet that I had today, so it was very scary for me. But in the beginning, I didn't know about the demons, but I noticed the tall tale signs. Like, I would smell things really, really foul in my dad's room, and I don't mean like musk or dirty laundry or something like that. I would smell like, it would just smell like a mixture of like garbage and eggs, and like a penny coppery smell or sulfur smell coming from his room, and it just didn't smell right. So that was like his bedroom was like where they would feed off him the most when he would sleep, because he would drink to the point where he would just knocked out, and when he was knocked out sleeping, then they would essentially drain him the most. um I also noticed other things happening in the house, like I would see shadow figures. Like, let's say I was sitting in my living room, I'll be sitting on the couch, and then I'll be home alone just watching something on TV, or my mom would be in the kitchen. Like, I'd be alone in a room, and along the very tops of the walls, I would see a shadow figure jumping from this corner to the next one, so forth, like hiding. And I'd be blinking like this, like, what is happening? This can't be real. But I would see it more and more each night. And I realized that as the activity grew more and more, my parents started fighting more. My dad started getting more depressed. They my the demons basically fed the they started gathering more energy from the family, more than like, they started feeding off my dad, but to gain more energy for their goal, the demon's goal, they started feeding off my family as well, and making us bicker against each other so they can have even more energy to carry out what they wanted. And they also used the residual energy within the home, like from the walls that acts as batteries, to get more energy as well. So the more we were fighting each other or we were depressed, also found out later on that my sister was depressed and she would self harm herself, which I had no idea at the time until later. And so her harming herself was also giving them more energy to do more. And I also noticed as they started getting more energy that more worse things were happening. Like, I started seeing, like, I started noticing that small things around the house were being moved or misplaced, and I'd be like, "Hey, where's my where's this notebook, or where's my necklace I had, or whatever. Small things like that would either be moved entirely, and then I'd blame like my mom or someone, like, hey, why'd you move this? And it would make us bicker more. So small things like that. And then it got even more scary when I noticed that we started seeing scratches on the floor and furniture of my parents' house, which was really scary because they first started, me and my sister, we shared a room. It started in me and my sister's room. I'm sorry. It started in my dad's room, which was right here. It started small scratches on the floor. And then our room next door started getting scratches. And then there we have a guest room, which is a little bit over. We have a 1-bedroom house, so all of the bedrooms are on one floor. It was boom, boom, boom with scratches on the floor. And eventually I was like, okay. At this point, we started having demonic activity for like a few years now, but it didn't get serious until this point. And I was asking my spirit guide, why are they scratching the walls? Like, what are they doing? And I heard from my spirit guide that demons, they scratch surfaces and stuff like this to kind of mark their territory. They're trying to direct the energy that they're feeding off you so that they can basically claim the house. And when I heard this, I practically jumped out of my skin and I was so scared. But then I remembered and heard from my spirit guide at that very moment, do not be scared. Don't let off that fearful energy, because you're just going to give them more energy for what they want. So it was a very, very scary time for me and my family, but my parents were completely oblivious. It was just me, my sister, and my brother at that point. And we were all still children or preteens. So eventually, once I realized, at that point, what was happening, what they were doing, the demons, I said, okay, what is some things I could be doing to protect myself from, the demons? If they're trying to go after my dad, I feel bad for him, but I need to think of ways to protect myself. And then once I learn how to do that, try to help my siblings. And then if I can, try to help my family and whatnot. So my spirit guide and me at this point, we were talking on a regular basis. I was using automatic writing to receive messages from her, and I could also just hear her crystal clear at that point. So I was asking my spirit guide, how do I, protect myself and deal with these demons? And the first thing I heard was, okay, when you go to sleep, you need to protect yourself. Your friend Shelly gave you an amethyst pendant. Amethyst is a protective stone. If you wear it at night, it would also help you. So at that time I was, wearing it to sleep. But then I also noticed that would help somewhat. But at this point, the demons just had so much energy, that they gathered over time, that I really needed to do more. Like, I can't just do one thing and I'd be okay. I had to take different techniques and use multiple things at once to really help myself and my family at that point. So I started trying to cleanse the house at this point. I would make my own holy water, and I would use salt and sage and incense and other things, and I would basically start cleansing the house, and I would open the windows to let the natural sunlight in to raise the vibration of the house. I was trying to do the small things that I knew I could at this point. So, like I said, I was smudging all the entryways and the closets. I especially noticed that they like to use the closets as portals at my parents' house, so I made sure I cleansed those really, really well. And let the natural sunlight in, and then I would take the holy water. Basically, I had like a big jar of it, and at this point, I actually went to a church for it, because at the time I didn't know I could make my own. I would take my fingers in the jar and start splashing it around, and then before I went to sleep, I would take the holy water and put it on my third eye and over my heart as well, and go to sleep. And that helped a little bit for a while, doing those things. And eventually, as I got older and more into my witchy practice, I learned there was more I could do. Me and my sister, we actually learned over time that, in order to deal with the demonic activity, we have to take their energy or power away from them. So we had to do our best to not just reclaim the home and the space. Um, we had to take the energy away from them. So yeah, reclaim the home, take energy away from them, do and have protection and banishment. So we cleansed the house regularly at this point. We were doing, me and my sister, we decided to come together to do our best to close the portals in the house. We noticed there was at least 3 that we knew of at the time. Um, and we also set protection. We did like crystal grids and different cleansings and witch balls and jars and all this other stuff. And then, but once we started closing the portals, that's when the energy, well, the activity really started dying down. But one day, they decided to retaliate. We were like, oh, we haven't had activity in a while, that I think they're gone, whatever. But we were young, we were naive, we didn't really know. And they started to really retaliate in the most scariest ways. Like, I was having a sleepover. Me and my sister were having a sleepover with our friends. We were like, I think 13 at the time. And like, at this point, me and my sister were open about being witches with our friends. So we had 2 of our friends came over. And one of the white girls wanted to do a Ouija board. And me and my sister were like, in our house, we just, did all this stuff about the demons, but we didn't want to tell them that. We were just like, I just don't think it's a good idea, blah, blah, blah. And even though we talked them out of it, we found out later on that evening that my friend Hannah at the time, she was basically taunting the spirits, but she was not aware that there was demons in the house. So looking back, that was definitely something I should have said. But when she started taunting and stuff, we noticed that my brother, he was sleeping in the other room, and he started choking and coughing. And my brother had asthma at this time, but he was dead asleep and he wouldn't wake up. And it was so, so scary. We truly believed that the demons were physically feeding off him and trying to attack him to get back at us and taunt us and make us fearful and whatnot. So our friends, we gathered around my brother, we held hands, and we threw salt over him and started chanting. And then he eventually woke up and he started breathing. And my brother at the time was only 4 years old. So this was so, so scary to experience. And that wasn't the only scary experience that we had after we thought they were gone. At this point, I was an early teenager, and I was very, very aware of seeing energy and auras and stuff like that. And I was talking to my boyfriend at the time on the phone, but I fell asleep. And I woke up, I was like half awake, half asleep. And I heard my boyfriend's voice, or what I thought was my boyfriend's voice. I woke, I sat up and I saw him next to me sitting on the couch, and he wanted me to kiss him. But then something, like the hairs on the back of my neck or something, like something within me was like, warning, warning, you were just talking to your boyfriend on the phone. How is he in front of you right now? And when I realized that, when I looked at my boyfriend, which was an apparition, it did not feel like his energy at all. It felt dark. Even though it looked like him, something felt so off. So, I was still a teenager. So at this point, it's like in my face, sitting next to me, like this close to me, staring at me. And my first reaction was to take the sheets that were above me, pull them over my head, and then I actively shielded myself, and it went away. But that was so scary to me because I could physically hear my boyfriend's voice, and then I physically saw him, and God knows what would have happened if I actually kissed the damn thing, like it probably would have fed off me, or worse, like Yeah, so that was a scary experience. And then another scary experience was once I realized it was really, really trying to come after me. Um, Again, I was like early teenager, and just realized not only could I lucid dream, like I was doing that from a very young age, but I could also astral travel. I could leave my body. And when I discovered this, I was doing it most nights. I was so excited. I was, traveling in my body. Sometimes I would watch myself sleep, but because I was just learning, like, oh, I could do this, I didn't realize that with, demonic activity in the house, you need to protect yourself. Like, you can't just leave your empty vessel out for the open. And it really came back to haunt me. But once the experiences kept happening and over again, I realized, okay, I need to have like a ritual, a practice of me. Okay, if I'm going to astral travel tonight, I need to do this, this, that, and the third. So what ended up happening was I went to sleep one night, and I was, I fell asleep and I started leaving my body. But then in the middle of my astral travel, I got sucked back to my body. Like I was like sort of like flying over the earth, and I was like visiting, doing this, that, and the third. And then all of a sudden, when a demon would try to come to my astral body would come back to my physical body. I would suddenly watch in my physical body, and my physical body could not breathe. I saw myself choking, and I was like, oh my God, what the hell is happening? And then I would look closer, and I would see like this dark mass around my body. It was physically trying to either come in my vessel or just influence or whatever. So when I saw this happen, and this would happen a lot until I realized I had to set boundaries of protection, I would have to find a way inside of my physical body, go inside my physical body, and then I would have to like force my body to wake up. And it's like the weirdest feeling. You're in astral travel, you're looking at your body, you're trying to enter like through the head or the heart. I would usually enter through the heart. And once I got in my body, it felt like I was laying down like this. And then to wake my body up, I had to slowly sit up. And once I got to this 90-degree position in my body, in my astral form, my physical body would wake up, and then I could finally breathe again. And that would happen over and over and over again until I finally realized, okay, I need to set crystals around my body. I need to make a prayer or intention that my spirit guide watches over my body when I decide to astral travel, or place salt or some type of protective herb or cleansing herb, whatever, to, like I had to set boundaries of protection before I go astral travel. I would sometimes have friends pray for me before I decide astral travel because I would like to do it a lot. But after, like, that would happen for like 2 years straight. Like, you thought I would have learned sooner, but I'm just being honest with you guys. So, yeah, so what ultimately had to happen, because I personally don't believe that the demons are out of my parents' house, but I do think that we took a lot of their power away once we started to reclaim the house and close the portals and stuff and have someone come in the house to do what they did for us. I believe they're just personally still working with my dad because he has generally gotten worse over the years with his health and a mental and emotional depression. And he claims to be Christian, but I definitely have not heard him or seen him read his Bible or pray or anything like that. So I hate to say that I really do believe he's still influenced, but um, they're they're definitely attached to my father. They're at the house because of my father. And I heard a long time ago when I first asked, why does my dad have this demonic attachment? Like, why? And I heard from my spirit guide that he invited the demons to him unknowingly. Basically, my dad made this like cry for help or prayer or whatever you want to call it. I'm sorry. When he was a young boy, retaliating against his dad, saying, "I want so and so to hurt him or to or whatever," and then it made him open, susceptible to the demonic presence. So I know that was a long video. That was only the experiences that I was comfortable with sharing with you guys. So I'm sorry if it's not everything you wanted, but like I said, my experiences about demonic activity and presence is very, very personal to me, and I just wanted to share some of them with you guys in case you may have had similar experiences or just wanted to know whatever it may be. But I hope that was enough for you guys. That was a lot to get off my chest and just share publicly with the world, so I hope you can understand if I want to keep some things private to myself, but I just wanted to share what I was willing to. So if you haven't checked out already, please look at the demonic demons and demonic activity video. That gives you information about demons and the different stages of demonic activity if you have not already. But thank you so much for watching. Blessed be, and stay tuned for my next video. Bye.